What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Quick thoughts. Danny Garcia, he's more adamant about who he will fight if he beats Shawn Porter, and that's Errol Spence Jr., the AKA boogeyman of the division at this point. His rebuttal to that, actually, Danny Garcia's, response to people calling Errol Spence the boogeyman. He was like, okay, why is he considered the boogeyman? Is this a PR stunt? That's the thing. But I mean, the more you hear Danny Garcia, pretty much signifying verbally who he wants to fight after the Porter fight, that only makes you want to root for Danny Garcia, to win, because Shawn Porter is not the one that's calling out Errol Spence. That's the reason that Errol Spence is considered the boogeyman, because some of the top fighters, Keith Thurman, i.e. Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter, these guys are not calling out Errol Spence. They're saying, oh, it's in due time, it's later in due time. And no, it's time to fight. There's a time to fight. And I would like to see Danny Garcia, and I would go for Danny Garcia if he's going to win. I'm for any fighter that wants progress, and fulfilling his legacy. If he beats Errol Spence, he'll shut everybody up. And, really, if you think about who Danny Garcia fought in the past, he fought Matisse and beat Matisse. And it was a good fight. But, he was the underdog in that fight. And a lot of views for, I think that was like 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, because that was on the undercard of Canelo Mayweather. So, it was definitely a good fight, but he did take him on and he took him out. So, let's say, who to say he can do that at the welterweight, because that was at 140, but I still want to see that fight, because Errol Spence is itching to get in there and rip into someone's ass. You know what I mean? But it's nothing like someone's going in there for bad intentions versus the other guy that they're going to call themselves beating up with also those equal bad intentions. You know what I mean? It's like walking into a gun store claiming that you're going to rob it. But understand, you're walking into a place with a gun. Understand there's people with guns too. So, that analogy for guys that think, hey, yeah, I'm going to go in, I'm looking to clear out the welterweight division, because I have some hammers. Also Danny Garcia has some hammers too. And then, and really, the guys that Errol Spence has fought, Algieri, who else has he really fought really right now? Peterson. These guys here, Brooke. So you have Brooke, Algieri, Peterson. These are some good guys. Algieri's been more of a gatekeeper right now. You know what I mean? And, really a strength and conditioning coach to Danny Jacobs. And I think he's better at that, honestly, because I think he knows. He's like Paulie Malignaggi for commentating. I think Paulie is an awesome commentator versus a fighter. I think, you know what I mean? I think he was a good fighter, but I think he's a better commentator. Just like I think Algieri's a better coach, than a fighter. But he's still one of the top guys. He's made his mark in the sport, and Spence took him out in 4 rounds. Where Pacquiao couldn't do that. Neither could Provandikov. So, he has bad intentions. Kell Brook broke his other eye socket. That's big. Stopped him in, I think, the 10th or 11th. And just made his colleague Peterson quit. So, yeah, I mean, the more Spence does, as of right now, the dude has scary power. He has pressing power. But he has of yet went in there with someone that can crack. You know what I'm saying? Algieri couldn't crack. Peterson's a decent puncher, but he doesn't have any real pop. Who else? Algieri? No. He doesn't have any pop. You know what I mean? Even when you let him out of the cage, he doesn't have any pop. So, that's why the fight is so intriguing and interesting, because, you want to see Danny Garcia or should I say, Errol Spence in with someone like Garcia, because Garcia can crack. People know he has hammers. He can hurt you and get you out of there. You know what I mean? Ask Amir Khan about that. You know, and Khan is another guy that wants to take on Errol Spence. Now, that's big. So, you know, and then, of course, Terrence Crawford, he's coming in. He's being welcomed into the welterweight division by accepting the WBO challenge, by fighting Jeff Horn, the #1 mandatory. That's happening real damn soon. So, again, I'm with Danny Garcia, not for the reasons he claims he's not the boogeyman. But I don't claim Errol Spence to be the boogeyman because I don't see a lot of guys ducking him anymore. The only 2 guys that did not want to fight him is Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. Now, if you think that's the only people in the welterweight division, okay, I can understand you thinking he's the boogeyman. But there's more guys up there, man. You got Amir Khan, he's back. You got Terrence Crawford, he's introducing himself, you know, and you got Danny Garcia claiming, hey, I want to fight him after the Porter fight. But then again, who knows what'll happen when these guys fight, the end result of that fight. Because Sean Porter is not an easy fight for anybody. You know, that's if he can beat Sean Porter. Because, you know, Sean Porter's been wanting Danny Garcia for a very long time. You guys don't believe me? Look at the outburst, you know, of after fight. Sean Porter calling out Danny Garcia. So, you know, but it looks good. It looks a lot better, man, because, you know, the welterweight division was, you know, it was pretty shitty for a while, honestly. But again, if Sean Porter don't want to give Errol Spence the opportunity, you know what I mean, that would be shame, and it would make the welterweight division more stagnant. Because if Porter beats Garcia and then Porter sits around and waits for Thurman, you know, and speaking of Thurman briefly, I think Keith Thurman should just be stripped of the WBA too and start from scratch. I don't think that he should hold on to that belt claiming, oh, I'm hurt or I'm injured or I'm whatever. If you're hurt or you're injured, you have so much time, you know, to either recover, you know what I mean? But, you know, because all those sanctioning bodies, they're worried about money anyways. But the grand scheme of things, man, he needs to be active, you know, and if he can't fight, I think they should strip him, you know. Of course, when he is at himself, he should be stripped with the option of being the #1 mandatory of whoever the belt goes for, and have 2 other guys fight for that belt when they strip him. Then when he gets well, then he can fight for that belt. That's how that should happen, you know. So, you know, so then there'll be another belt someone else could fight for, and someone else can claim supremacy on, and hopefully a unification in the future, you know. But Keith Thurman, he's not, you know, he's not being fair to anybody. You know, you're just holding on, I'm the champ, but you're not fighting anyone. So, you know, and that's no progress. So I'm all for progress in the welterweight division. So, but anyway, it looks good in the welterweight division right now. You guys tell me what you think of this whole fiasco of Danny Garcia, speaking of Errol Spence and Sean Porter in the mix, followed by Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. But anyway, that's my take on it, guys. Please subscribe. You guys been counterpunched. Peace.